How's it going, people? Welcome to this week's edition of The Locker Room right here on Top 6 Fan TV. And with me in the studio are some very interesting gentlemen, and we are going to have a spectacle of banter and quality review as we touch base on the action from the weekend featuring the traditional top 6 teams of the English Premier League. And we will get into it right after this.
Oh, he's done it! Cometh now! Cometh the man! And it's that one, Mathew! It's 8 goals in his last 8 Premier League starts at Emirates Stadium. Salah! Wow! What a strike by Mohamed Salah!
Ball down the channel, and it's played into Fernandes in the penalty area. Oh.
Aguero looking for the 1-2 Balotelli. He's won the title.
Never there. Here's Harry Kane. Kane goes for what a goal from in business here. Lukaku scores on second debut. It's only taken 14 minutes.
Brilliant. Welcome back from that. And if you're just joining us, welcome again to Top 6 Fan TV. My name is Mathew, your host. And with me in the house today is Ali G, one of our Chelsea fans, super fans. Ali G, you can greet the people, say what's up.
Hey everyone, nice to have you here today. It's a good day.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
After a draw, I don't know how much of a good day it is after that draw, but yeah, you take what you can. You take what you can. And of course we do. Yeah. We have Brian, whose connection seems to be having a little bit of an issue, but I'm sure he'll join us shortly. But if you're just joining us, welcome again to the show. Feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe, and we will be excited to have you join the following as we look to put out some great content from the fans by the fans. And jumping into this weekend's, the action from the weekend gone by. We had a great lineup of games in there from the top 6. I think there was only one member of the top 6, the traditional top 6, that did play. That was Spurs. They had a game away to Burnley at Turf Moor, but that was called off. But we kick off the action with a review of Manchester United versus Chelsea. And on that note, Tuka Brian joins us. Tuka, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mathew. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you. And we'll kick off with your end, actually. Catching up with that game. Chelsea welcoming Manchester United to Old Trafford, and that resulting in a 1-1 draw. What was your view of the game? I'd like you to share the Man United perspective, because the formation and the starting lineup surprised many United fans, but it did pay out for Carrick. Whether it was Carrick selecting the squad, I don't know, but that looked like Rough Rugged had at work already. What was your take on the match, Brad?
No, I think the game reflected where both sides are in league standings, and also I think everything happening at both clubs. For United, it's about facing whatever is happening at that moment. For Chelsea, it's about winning or what they are planning to win this season. I think they really want to win the Premier League after winning the Champions League. I think Thomas Tuka set up his teams really well. They've done a great job. I think since he arrived, he's clearly put his mark on that team, and you can clearly see. For United, lots of problems, I think, right from the top to the coaches, and I think even the players. There's nothing right happening at that football club at the moment. But I think Michael Carrick got his tactics right this time around. It was about more like damage control. Don't allow Chelsea to humiliate you. If you can get a draw, well and good. And I think they were planning to play on counter-attack, and they managed to get one. You have to give Jadon Sancho a lot of credit, because it looked like a lost cause, but he decided to chase. And a mistake happens, which, of course, Thomas Tuchel has since blamed on the floodlights at Stamford Bridge. I thought we only have those at Namboli. But even at Stamford Bridge, there are a few issues with the floodlights. So, and a brilliant finish, I think, to tell how good a player.
Yeah, there we go. Looks like the floodlights are affecting Brian's connection as well. We'll wait for him to get back. But Ali, what's your take on that? Damage control from United, looking to play on the counter. What was your take on that? It actually paid off for them, and they did get a result in the draw.
You know, Paul Scholes say that we shouldn't say that it worked out well for them because if Tony Rudiger had scored that late minute goal, everyone will be blaming Carrick for the way he set up the team. You know, you get to praise a team when they get the result, but overall, if you look at the way Chelsea played, there were so many missed chances. Chelsea was very wasteful. If it would have been a different story, people complaining and blaming Carrick for setting up a team like that, it's just because Chelsea was wasteful. And adding on to the floodlights, the excuse, the Chelsea legend Jimmy Floyd-Hasselbank also came out to blame Jorginho that he was a bit complacent in the way he handled the ball. That he was the way Chelsea is playing, they are being so confident and they think it will hurt them in the long run. They'll start being complacent the way he tried to control the ball. And they tend to believe that everyone they leave behind will be able to support the team. If you see the way they went they all went to score and they left only one man behind. So it comes on the way. I feel they're being so overconfident at this point. They don't know what the situation was for the team just last season. The team was very shaky. So I think they should go back to the drawing board and the basics, and also Thomas Tuchel, the way he sets up the team is if it was any other manager, I would have started the game with a strong Pulisic, Mason Mount, and maybe Lukaku. We know it's from injury, but it's a threat. There are so many chances that Timo Werner missed that Lukaku maybe would have put to bed. So it's the philosophy that Thomas Tuchel has, where he believes that the players who are very good in the training, he'll give them the chance. He doesn't. So I don't know, but hopefully, for any Chelsea fan, it's too early for us to blame the manager because we know where he brought us from and where we are now. We appreciate him. We appreciate the tactics that he's using. So we shall take the draw and we appreciate everything that's going on right now.
We'll enjoy it while it lasts. Brian, do you agree? Do you agree with that assessment?
No, but I think for Romelu Lukaku, he had just returned from an injury. He wouldn't want to risk him. He is definitely going to be playing so many games. Timo Werner is not going to be starting games for Chelsea. It will definitely be Lukaku. But he had just returned, and the coach wouldn't want to risk him. I'm not sure Mason Mount has started so many games in the recent weeks. He's been off a bit. And for Tuchel, what he's decided to go with is if you're playing well in training and doing the job, you start games. If you don't, then you're not going to be playing. It's that simple. And I think it's a good way to manage some of these superstars. Because when you look at United, one of the biggest, I think, things that let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down is that even when his superstars were not playing well, he never trusted the rest of the squad. He clearly continued playing Bruno Fernandes. It doesn't matter how good a player he is. I continue playing Wan-Bissaka in games when you thought actually, United are going to be going all out. Why don't you play Diogo Dalot? Harry Maguire was struggling. He continued playing him. At times, you have to show these players that there's a competition for places. If you don't play well, you're not going to be starting games and you'll not get the time to play. It's that simple and it works. But going back to United, when you asked me about the game, I felt, I think the way Chelsea were playing is in a place where they are right now and not where United are. For United, they've conceded so many silly goals, they've been poor defensively, and they've lost so many games. So what they were looking at doing is trying to manage themselves and also the game. Can we be able to limit how many chances we concede and how many goals we concede? If you can do that, then we've got a chance. Because the thing is, for United, they've got players who can go forward and create problems for any team. It doesn't matter who they are playing. Of course, they've lacked the organization also going forward. The problem has been conceding so many goals. And I think you can't blame Michael Carrick for going for 3 holding midfielders. But 2 of them I thought can be good on their day, very comfortable on the ball, especially Nemanja Matic. Fred still struggles, I think, in that department. But Scott is a young player, McTominay, and I think with time, with a much better player. Of course, if you ask anybody, they're going to tell you United needs better players in those positions, those that can hold on to the ball, but also give the team good defensive shape when they are coming at them. But I thought Carrick picked a team that was needed at that moment. And the way Chelsea played, they knew that United were there for the taking. They knew that United were simply going to have bodies behind the ball. And they decided to go all out. You can't blame them for having only Jorginho at the back. It's because they realized United probably are not interested in coming at them. So they said, why not push numbers? Because United had everyone behind the ball. Chelsea needed to push also numbers. And at times, you have to take those risks sometimes.
Yeah, indeed, it was a risk that paid off. We did see Jorginho's touch there. But for me, what I noticed on that particular incident where Jorginho lost the ball at the center line, if you notice, it was very similar to a certain goal by the Arsenal chap who scored over the weekend, Martinelli, when he dispossessed N'Golo Conte about 2 years ago at the Bridge. Again, pressing, right? We know Thomas Tuchel, the likes of Thomas Tuchel, the likes of Jurgen Klopp, are really ambassadors of gegenpress. And interim manager for Man United, Ralf Rangnick, has been touted as the godfather of gegenpress. Thomas Tuchel actually, he actually credits Ralf Rangnick for giving him the encouragement to get into management and imparting a style and influencing the style on him. So there's definitely something that he'll bring to United. And there has been this notion that Michael Carrick was actually not the one who picked the team. He had some influence in there, but there was a touch of Ralf Rangnick in there because of that pressing. What do you think about that?
Absolute nonsense. I don't think
I've heard that.
Yeah. I think it's definitely Michael Carrick who chose that team. Clearly, how do you tell me Rangnick chose that team? How much does he know about the players? What was he seeing in training? For you to choose a team to start again, you must have seen what was happening in training. I don't think he was in a training. This guy cannot be allowed even to work in the UK at the moment because he doesn't have the work permit. So he's been appointed today, but he needs to first fulfill that. Of course, United are going to get the work permit. No, don't doubt about it. I'm sure by Wednesday, most likely they would have sorted that out. But I think the reason why many believed it is because of who first said it. Gary Neville, everyone knows probably, he knows a few things inside of United. Because he said it, many believe that he had. Can you imagine a few people even went ahead to think Darren Fletcher was talking to Rangnick with the earphones that he was wearing on match day? But he was wearing the same against Villarreal. He was wearing the same against Villarreal. It's just because they didn't see him. So you have to give Michael Carrick some credit. I think it shows a good team. What I've seen from him, and I think probably, at times you get surprised. They were together with Ole. What I've realized from Michael is that he's trying to give practically everyone a chance. Donny van der Beek barely got any time under Ole. And he's already played 2 games under Carrick. He brought him on for Bruno Fernandes. He started him in midweek against Villarreal last week. So he's trying to give everyone a chance, especially those kids that are talented and have not gotten enough playing time. I think you can't take away the credit from Michael Carrick. I think he did a great job by ensuring that the team was disciplined defensively.
Fair enough. Ali G, what you were trying to say something about that as well?
Yeah, I heard what Brian was saying. I don't know why they were putting the credit of how Michael Carrick set up the team to the new interim. Is that his philosophy? Maybe Brian knows him much better than me. Is it? Because I'll be worried. Honestly, I'll be worried if that's the philosophy he's bringing to the Premier League to be defensive. Because Arsenal will come and run them over. It's just because Chelsea was under on that day. So I don't know whether they are very proud of the way the team was set up that they're even crediting the new interim manager coming.
If United were that defensive and Chelsea were unlucky, now imagine if United were not that defensive, what would have happened? Probably it could have been another mauling, like the 5-0 loss to Liverpool. The thing is, Carrick is just trying to manage what's happening at the moment. United definitely cannot continue playing that way. There's no doubt about it. Remember, if they have Paul Pogba back, they're not going to be playing that way. Paul has to start games, and they're not going to start Nemanja Matic, Fred, and McTominay when Paul is on the pitch. I don't think it's going to happen. So what they've been lacking, of course, there's been a lack of organization on the pitch. The reason why they're bringing in a Rangnick is to ensure that some of those things are sorted. He stays actually for an extra 2 years, so that they can have proper organization when there is someone who understands the game on and off the pitch. Not only having guys who know how to look for the money, but don't understand the game on the pitch. And that's why I think they're bringing Rangnick, not only for the interim, but also to step for the 2 extra years. And I think his bigger job is going to be staying for the 2 more years. So I don't think Carrick plays that way. We all know how good a player he was. He was so comfortable on the ball and defensively disciplined, but he's just trying to manage what's happening at United at the moment. And that's lack of confidence. What do? Ensure that you defend well, don't concede. You know that you give yourself a chance. You could get a chance and you score and you win a game even if it's by 1-0. So when the confidence is back and the team gets themselves organized, then you can start playing the way United are expected to play. But at the moment, given what's happening, you have got to be extremely careful.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. And what's your take on Cristiano Ronaldo coming off the bench, Ali G? I'll swing it back to Brian, but Ali G, do you think you spoke about Lukaku needing to have started that game, because of the kind of player that he is and probably what they needed at the front that they lacked with Timo Werner. But Cristiano Ronaldo, this man coming on for Jadon Sancho in the later part of the game, do you think it was a mistake not to start him? I mean, this is a high-profile game, derby of sorts, the games that Cristiano Ronaldo lives for. Do you think United lacked something with him?
I agree with what Brian said that Lukaku was from an injury, but still, again, strikers have that instinct. As in, they may not even... Ronaldo himself is a threat. If you put him, the players will not go so much, the defenders will not go so much into the attack because they know there is someone who is very threatening at the back. So, to me, I feel like his presence alone can do something, can bring some damage to that defense in Chelsea. So, and I don't know, maybe he wasn't happy at the end of the game because they are talking about how he went off the pitch. He didn't even say, he didn't shake any hands. Yes, so maybe it's about the attitude. So probably he's not happy if he's not getting games. But also I heard they were saying that if you put Ronaldo in such a game where Man is being so defensive, you won't be doing him any help. As in, he's going to look so average in a team which is being defensive. So I don't know why he wasn't happy. But personally, I feel like if Carrick had set up the team like that, it was to his own benefit that he stayed on the bench because he wouldn't have done anything. There were no balls that were going to come in. Maybe if there's Pogba on the pitch to supply to him, or Bruno Fernandes was a bit forward on the pitch, but they were so defensive. So even if he had been on the pitch, he wouldn't have done anything. But maybe Brian can tell us more about that.
Brian, do you think, Cristiano Ronaldo, was it a mistake for Carrick to leave him on the bench, or do you feel that was a solid tactical switch?
Well, nobody will ever know. But to start with, it's because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. If it was any other player who was left on the bench, we'll not be discussing this. But the guy has earned the right to be discussed in this aspect. And you can't blame anybody for thinking that. We can never know what would have happened if he had started. But we know that. I think he started the Liverpool game and United lost by 5-0. He started the Man City game and they were absolutely played off the park. They lost 2-0. But it was a 2-0, massacre. It should have been 4 or 5 or 6 if City wanted really. So I think what happens is, let's not forget, the guy is 36 years old. He could easily be the fittest player in the Premier League even at 36. But he's 36 years. That's what matters. He cannot be playing week in, week out. He played, I think, the whole 90 against Villarreal, if I remember. If not, he got off when there were a few minutes left. And now you bring him against a team where you're going to be doing a lot of defending. It's tougher to defend than actually to go forward. When you do the defending, you're going to be worked more than the team that is actually coming at you. Because you're chasing, you're running bodies down. So it's a problem. So, and United were going to do that on the day. So the guy is 36. Maybe Carrick thought he played in midweek, played lots of minutes. I cannot be asking him to do what I want some of his young guys to do. And that's why I left him on the bench. But because it's Ronaldo, and it's because it's a big game against Chelsea, Ronaldo is a superstar, brought him to play for such games. That's why the discussion is here. But nobody knows what could have happened. If United had lost by 2 or 3-0, the discussion would have been different, saying, why didn't he start? But the fact that they managed to get a 1-0 draw, when people thought actually they would be demolished by Chelsea, I think you give Michael Carrick credit.
I think so. I mean, some fans are saying Cristiano Ronaldo was brought on for Fergie time, but unfortunately that did not bear fruit.
Fergie time, there were lots of minutes left. That's not Fergie time.
And you see,
and listen, by the way, he played about 28 minutes. He touched the ball, I think. He touched the ball only 7 times. The guy everyone is asking for to start. He only touched the ball 7 times.
But I mean, this is Cristiano Ronaldo. He would have scored a hat trick with those 7 touches.
It doesn't need many touches.
I'm telling you. Let's leave all things Chelsea and Man United, gentlemen, behind and move on to Merseyside, where Liverpool continue their fantastic form. Steamrolling Southampton. I'd give Southampton credit for not swallowing more than 4 goals. It was 4-0. We did see Arsenal put to the sword last weekend. But gentlemen, Ali G, what are your thoughts around this team? I mean, Diego Jota coming in and putting in a fantastic performance. Yeah. Go ahead.
Honestly, as a Chelsea fan, when I'm talking about Liverpool, I can't wait for the African Cup of Nations to come because I really want those guys to go to Africa and they leave the competition and they run into to us and we see what will happen. Because they are so good, the cohesion is so good. I think Liverpool is the most perfect team, as in you can watch the way they win their games effortlessly. They build the goals from nothing and you see the ball coming so kudos to them, but all I can say is I can't wait for the African Cup of Nations. I believe
I hope you know that
Yes,
you're
Brian.
also losing Edward. I hope you also know you're losing Edward Mendy to Senegal in January,
Yes,
and
I
he's
know
your
that,
number
but
1 goalkeeper.
Kepa.
Of course, you can't compare. You cannot compare it.
Kepa can misfire, but as in, but it's not so misfiring. Kepa, when he's given the trust, he can do something.
Of course, you can't compare it to Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah and Naby Keita leading for Liverpool. It's going to be a huge blow. It's going to be a huge blow. The Liverpool team.
Brian, let's not forget Ibrahim Konate. Isn't he? Or he's French? Is he French or Senegalese? One of those.
Yeah, but I don't think when you're talking the guy. I think if he's not actually, he's French. So, but if you're talking, but it's African, but it's French. But we all know what it is. But it's African, but it's French. Yeah.
They have another guy in the midfield there.
They have Naby Keita, Sadio Mane, and Mohamed Salah.
And the defender.
Mohamed Salah, I think, for me, and Joel Matip no longer plays for Cameroon, so he's not going to be coming. So if he's the one you're asking about, but I think for me it's Salah and Mane, most importantly, that they will miss, because I think half of their goals go through those guys. It's what makes Liverpool tick. And over the weekend, it was so easy. I think Southampton afford you do not know when they're going to be demolished. You know, they've conceded, I think, 9 and 10 before. Conceded 10 against Leicester. United scored 9. I think it was last season. They could have visited
9 goals. Yeah, there we go. Brian's connection again chipping out, but I'm sure he'll be back as usual. Ali G, I mean, these guys, if Liverpool, actually, for me, I know you can't wait for the African Cup of Nations, but if Liverpool do manage to stay second or third by the end of the African Cup of Nations, when these boys come back, I think we are going to be in for a really, really tight race. My predictions at the beginning of the season was actually Liverpool to win the league, and I was laughed at. And my argument was that these guys last season had more or less a very disappointing title defense, but that was for a number of factors that I can put that down to. One, they had a horrible injury run, especially at the back with defense. If you have Joe Matip, you have Virgil van Dijk, you have Joe Gomez out of action without credible backup for more than 3 months, and you're Liverpool, you're definitely going to struggle. So that has been sorted out this season. The boys are back, and Thiago seems to have settled back in, settled well into the team. He had a bit of an underwhelming first season, but he's starting to look the part. The reason they bought him for. Naby Keita, of course, had a troublesome injury record as well that we saw. But we did see that these, once the injuries have been sorted out for Liverpool, they become an extremely cohesive and functional unit, and they tear any team apart on their day. with the exception of, let's say, West Ham and Brighton did give them a run for their money, as well as Brentford away. But besides those, you can't see that the team are well oiled, and we will see what happens during the African Cup of Nations. I believe if they can stay third or second, they will challenge for the title, no doubt, by the end of AFCON.
Yeah, correct. And
no,
also,
I think the only thing that can serve them, I think, is the fixture, and I don't think it's going to be really tough. If there are a few tricky fixtures in there, and you don't have Salah and money, it's going to be tough. But the reason why I think Jurgen Klopp must have been celebrating is Diogo Jota getting in form at the right time, because without Salah and money, he's going to be extremely key to that team. He will have to bang in the goals, and hopefully they will have Roberto Firmino back. And maybe, just maybe, Divock Origi will be that important now for them, because he will be available for them. So I think that's the essence of having also a cohesion as a team. Even when you're not playing a lot, you can see Divock Origi when he comes on, he does the job. But I think that's one thing that, that's one thing that Jurgen Klopp has done, I think, really well. The man management was way up there. But Liverpool are a very fluid team. They're a very fluid team. On their day, they're capable of just beating anybody. But the Africa Cup of Nations is going to be a test. It's going to be costly for them.
Yeah, I mean, Brian and Ali, look at this. Looking at the fixtures they have from the 2nd of January, the first game of the new year, 2nd of January. By that time, AFCON should have taken the players. Brian, you'll know better, but by that time, AFCON should have taken the players should have been summoned to their country camps. 2nd of January, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. They then move to Brentford. They welcome Brentford at Anfield. That should be fine. They then go away to Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace. Then they welcome Leicester City to Anfield. And then they have Burnley. This is now the 12th of Feb. And then the 19th of Feb, they have an easy one against Norwich City. 26th of Feb, they have a very difficult game against the Arsenal at the Emirates, who will be looking to correct the abomination of last week's results.
26, they should be back.
26, that's 26th Feb.
Yeah,
and then they kick off match with a home game against West Ham. So it's a bit of a tricky set of matches, so to speak.
Those are tough ones. Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has been the most unlucky team this season. I think they should be way above where they exactly. I thought Vieira has done a brilliant job with them. They've been so unlucky, conceding some silly goals and not putting away chances they should. And if you are doing that, they should be probably in the top 8 easily, by the way. I'm thinking Vieira has done a really good job. And with the limitations is that in terms of the playing staff, he doesn't have the best of squads, but you can see his mark on that team since he came in. So Liverpool find it really tricky playing against them without money and Salah, definitely. But I'm sure Jurgen Klopp has got a plan. Like I said, if Diogo Jota continues scoring, it's going to be key. But then once the others leave, if Roberto Firmino is back, and I think the midfield now needs to chip in. I mean, whoever, Alcantara, Fabinho, whoever is going to be playing, goals have got to be coming from all over. Just like Chelsea, are really struggling. Chelsea could be at the top, but they're struggling to score goals. Everyone is chipping in. Rudiger, Reece James, everyone is scoring goals in there. Liverpool may need that in January.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, and Ali J, I'd like to pull you in on this last point, but we're talking about how strong Liverpool are and the fluidity, and how last season they were undermined by injuries in addition to not having the Anfield factor, which is also a very strong factor, the power of their fans. But Chelsea are starting to look thin right now. Chilwell looks like he's done his knee and he's most likely going to be out for more than, probably 6 months. Best case scenario, 3 months. If you look at their midfield, Kante and Kovacic are out. We know that those are very pivotal players over the last few weeks. And we do see, of course, Lukaku has come back, which is a big plus for them. But they are starting to look a little bit thin. And we know that as much as they have depth in the squad, the injuries can affect your momentum. So as much as we're seeing, the those injuries come through and you're steadying the ship for now, you can argue that if the likes of Conte and Kovacic were in that midfield yesterday, you would have had a bit more bite to that, because they certainly bring in something more attacking there. And of course, Superman Mr. Edward Mendy is also going to be gone for AFCON. So do you think you as Chelsea will ride the storm that month as well, the January, February?
I think that's why I appreciate Thomas Tuchel because he has given the young players confidence. If you see now the Chalobahs who are stepping up, even in the midfield yesterday we saw Loftus-Cheek, no one expected him to play this match, but he was playing against a very big team, Manchester, and he looked confident of the ball. Not as confident as Kante, but he was okay. And even if Barkley comes on, who we thought that was going to be released, he provides moments of magic here and there. So I think that's why we shall rely on the genius of Thomas Tuchel to see that he can give us the points where we don't expect anything. But also the team depth also comes key. Chelsea has a very big squad. So we hope as other players are falling out, others are coming in like Lukaku. Of course, there are some that are coming back like Timo Werner that are not giving us much that we expect. But so we shall count on the ones. We shall count on the ones that
I don't know what guy. I don't know. He's shooting boots. He must be wearing his boots on the opposite feet.
If he was playing the Ugandan league, I can guarantee you someone will be saying they bewitched him. You cannot.
I don't know.
You cannot come from left. The guy came as a world beater. He looks like he came from a championship, and he looks like he came from a championship.
Exactly.
And he has got to know the time. Definitely. And he has got to know the time to prove himself.
Yes, definitely. Very quickly, now we looked at Liverpool's game during the month of January. Gentlemen, this is Chelsea's fixture from 2nd January. 2nd January already we know they welcome Liverpool to Stamford Bridge. Then the following weekend, Chelsea are away at the Etihad to Manchester City. After that,
they're playing Liverpool and they're playing Liverpool and Man City back to back.
Exactly. They're playing Liverpool, then Man City away, then Spurs at Stamford Bridge, and then the close of 8th of Feb with a trip away to Brighton and Hove Albion. So the games are also quite tricky, considering Kepa is going to be in goal. I do believe these are going to be tricky games.
But the good thing is
they've not been so many. Yeah, but there've not been so many teams that actually get close to their goalkeepers. They've been so solid, by the way, this Chelsea team. Extremely solid. Well drilled. Yeah. You can see a team that plays with a plan. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be. Everyone knows who they're supposed to be going after. So Kepa might not be such a big a factor as it would have been before under Lampard. I think they're a well-drilled team. Sometimes, yes, there'll be moments where the goalkeeper has got to come in, but I think he's been benched enough. When he gets the opportunity, you feel he would want to prove a point and regain his number one spot. So I think he should be able to look much better. But most importantly, he's not going to be exposed to lots of attacks like it was before, because this Chelsea team is looking so disciplined.
Indeed. Ali G, your take on that finally as we move on?
I'm not worried about the fixture. Play the hard ones. You have to be the best to be the best. So whether we play Liverpool, Man City, I'm not worried. I think that Chelsea has though I know that Man City will be, if Liverpool loses the African guys and maybe they drop out, I have a feeling that Man City will be the one leading the race. Chelsea is good, but I don't know. There's something missing about that team. I feel like, I don't know. They're not so, the cohesion is not, they're misfiring so much. I don't think they're as clinical as Man City. So
you're just being a fan, expecting the worst. We know that
he wants to spend money.
But we know you're hoping for the best.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. All right, gentlemen, let's move on. And of course, moving on to the Emirates, Arsenal, my beloved Arsenal. have had some issues this season, starting off with 3 straight defeats, then going on an 8-match unbeaten run in the league, and before being humbled, eating the humblest of pies at Anfield last weekend with a 4-0 drubbing. But the pressure was on them to come back, and Mikel Arteta to come back and produce a result in this home game against Newcastle. And they turned out 2-0 winners, goals coming in there from star boy Bukayo Saka, who later limped off injured, and then this gentleman Martinelli, who Jurgen Klopp actually rates quite highly, but doesn't get as much playing time as the Arsenal fans like, coming on and scoring a sublime second in there to seal the points for Mikel Arteta, and that moves him level on points with West Ham. West Ham are 4th, Arsenal 5th, but Arsenal bouncing back. What was your take on the match, Brian?
Not a bad performance from a mid-table team, expected to be on the backside of the team. So it's okay. But anyways, I thought I thought they recovered really well. Good, brilliant performance, but it's one that you expected. I mean, they're playing against a team that is yet to win a league game in the Premier League in Newcastle.
Yes.
Even with all the money they have, they can't buy even a goal. So, rather, they can't buy a win. So that's how tough it is for them. And Arsenal fully capitalized on that. I think what we need to understand is at the start of the season, they had some really tough fixtures. Yes, we could have said they look poor and all the news of Mikel Arteta leaving. But when you start a season playing City, Chelsea, and I think the other must have been, was it Brentford?
We started the season with Brentford, Chelsea, and Man City.
Chelsea and Man City. Clearly, Chelsea and Man City were tough fixtures. Yes, Brentford could have been an easy one. They put that on the side, and since then, they've looked a completely different side. And that's, at times, it's about the confidence. You know, winning just like losing is a habit. So if you keep winning, then it grows in the team. If you lose games, it doesn't matter how big a player you are. You're going to lose your confidence. And that's what United, for example, are going through at the moment. Exactly. But if they can manage to get 2 or 3 wins on the bounce, and then it changes everything. And that's what has happened at Arsenal. And all of a sudden, everyone looks a world beater. Bukayo Saka, Martinelli had played well last season. Of course, he's gone off a bit because of injury. And now he scores that brilliant goal. Everyone looks good now. It doesn't matter if Aubameyang is not scoring or not. So when you win games, the confidence is back and the team looks good. But I think the test again is going to, for us to see the improvement in this Arsenal team. When they play against United on Thursday, how good will they look? If they can beat United, because however bad United look at the moment, they are still Man United. And you know that they will come and give you a difficult time. So if they can perform well and put up a good performance, then you've got to start thinking, I mean, they could be somewhere making noise about the top 4. Because I'm sure the target this season for them is top 4. Now they're very close there. So also, in the big games, for the confidence to grow, and then you can go on some winning streaks. But I thought they put up a very good performance against a team that is struggling, really.
Brilliant. Ali G, your thoughts on the Arsenal win? Does this give them strong momentum into the Man United game?
But we need to also give credit to Arteta. There are some new players that are in this team that we didn't expect that they would come out. When the season was beginning, we saw Aaron Ramsdale. And actually, I thought that was wasted money because he has been playing for teams that have been relegated. The guy has stepped up. And we saw Tomiyasu coming in. We saw Lokonga. And so I think it's credit to Tavares. So the way Arteta has used them, he has always had this philosophy. People were criticizing him, but he has always, you could see that he's building something slowly by slowly. But like Brian said, the biggest test is on Thursday. Because Arsenal was struggling at the beginning of the season because the fixtures were a bit hard. Then they've had a very good run of games against very weak teams. So let us see on Thursday if they go past that test. We shall we shall know that they actually belong to the mid-table where they're supposed to be, or actually they're really good. The team has built the cohesion that we are seeing right now. So let's wait for Thursday.
But the jury though will still be out there, because even if they beat United, they will be saying after that, I mean, everybody seems like they can beat United at the moment. So maybe they don't say much about Arsenal.
so to speak. I mean, the jury will still be out, I think, and that might be something that might play in Arsenal's favor. There's not much belief, much like the Leicester side. I'm not saying Arsenal will challenge for the title, far from it. But we all know, what benefit Leicester City had the year they won the championship, because no one ever believed. Everyone, up to 5 games to the end of the season, people kept thinking, these guys are going to drop off and probably finish second. But the guys kept going and kept going, and I think Arsenal have that feel about them. You never know what to expect with them, and because of that, you don't have the confidence they will live to their past glory. So they do look like underdogs in there.
I hope you're not being so confident. I hope you're not being so confident that you're going to go.
No, I mean at the beginning of the.
You sound like Mama Fina now. Talking Arsenal, then Leicester winning. I don't even know where you're headed.
I don't know.
What is
mixing things here? I'm getting worried.
No, I'm enjoying this. You see, this is precisely what I'm talking about. Your reaction, both of you. But I am enjoying this while it lasts. I will speak more after the United game.
Please, that's much better. Enjoy it while it lasts. And the problem is that usually in that game, the informed team is the one that usually loses on the day. So you've got to be careful. And we know the informed team is Arsenal.
No, United. Okay. Champions League and draw at Chelsea.
But before the Liverpool loss, we all know how Arsenal are doing. So the informed team in this case will be Arsenal.
I'm telling you, that is a derby. We all know the form books are thrown out of the window. To be honest, gentlemen, I've watched
no doubt
for so long. You know what we don't know what to expect. Manchester United may come in with a fantastic change and we do expect a change because all factors remaining constant. If United, I think they will manage to get the paperwork sorted. Ralph Rangnick should have that as his first game. Probably have 1 or 2 training sessions at most. But there will definitely be a different aspect to United. I'm interested to see how they will set up for that particular game. And moving on, gentlemen, into this game, chilly conditions at the Etihad. Manchester City welcoming West Ham, who have done very well. David Moyes, of course, was not given the time that he would have wanted at Old Trafford. But he's working wonders for the Hammers with a squad that we believe is probably inferior to the likes of Leicester City and Spurs, but they're doing a very good job in there. Man City still are Man City. They, much to the expectation, came out with a result 2-1. It was not the steamrolling that we expected, but a 2-1 win nevertheless. Brian, your thoughts on that one?
That was a super win for City because West Ham have been on fire. They are not in the top 5 for nothing. There's a reason why they're there. But also City showing why they're still going to be battling for the Premier League. And I think this season, unlike the last 2, where one team went on a run and clearly nobody could catch up, this season most likely we could see a really tight one between amongst the 3 teams, City, Chelsea and Liverpool. But if you want to act like an Arsenal fan, you can add Arsenal in there. I don't know how close they will be or far away, but I don't expect them to be anywhere near those guys. But I think that was a statement win for City. I think the scoreline does not reflect how good they were. I think they were better than the 2-1 win because West Ham scored late on in that game. More consolation purely. I think it must have been a 94 plus when they got that goal from Lanzini. But I thought City looked absolutely brilliant. We're talking about Liverpool being fluid. These guys they make you want to watch them almost every day when they're playing. The slick passing, the pressing, the organization, and especially Fernandinho's second goal, absolutely brilliant. I call those penalties from open play because the way he placed it clearly, it was absolutely brilliant. So it said a lot about City, but also let's not forget they had to revenge that loss in the Carabao Cup because they lost to West Ham and they were eliminated by West Ham. So revenge for them, but also they knew that just in case Chelsea slip up, they capitalized on that, and now they're only a point behind Chelsea.
Yeah, so it does make things a lot more spicier at the top. Ali G, City coming, being criticized by a section of their fans, and of course being poured scorn on by several other fans for not being able to secure that striker that they wanted in the summer. Of course, we all know they're looking at Harry Kane, and that was not possible. They brought in Grealish, who's not even playing, or hasn't settled in as well as they would have liked. Chelsea going ahead to splash a good chunk of money on Lukaku to sort that particular issue. But you see the City team going the mile, or lasting the mile, and without a striker still, going on to push for the title and even the Champions League, so to speak.
City, I think it's about their team depth, because you can see they won comfortably against West Ham, but they didn't have Jack Grealish, they didn't have Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, and now you see that as the season will be rolling on, these guys were absent. They will be like new signings, and that's why City will come and beat these other teams. When the Starlings are getting tired, these guys will be coming out of injury when they are very fresh. So City, their chemistry is so good. Of course, very big thanks to Pep. Pep is also when it comes to the tactics, he does things very well. So I don't know. It's a team that has no flaws. Everything seems to be working out in their favor. You can't see anything going wrong for them, and there'll be a big threat to the title for us, Chelsea. I don't know about Arsenal, but for us, Chelsea, who are hoping to lift the trophy, so there'll be a very big threat to us. Yeah,
you guys enjoying that? Well, of course, the other last member of the traditional top six, Spurs, not being able to play their game away to Burnley at Turf Moor, heavy snow as we saw. Similar conditions to the ones at Manchester City, but even worse. That game having to be postponed. So Spurs didn't play. We didn't see Antonio Conte in action with his boys in white. But the results now shaping up the top of the table, making it just a bit tighter in there. Chelsea still on top with 30 points. Manchester City on 29. They close the gap to 1 point. Liverpool still breathing fire on 28 points, and then those top three, you could call the cream at the top, and then the rest of the pack coming in fourth and fifth. West Ham and Arsenal tied on 23 points, and Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have been under the radar, creeping up the table. Bruno Lage there, but their new manager, actually producing decent results in sixth and Spurs in seventh. Manchester United sitting in eighth position on 18 points, but we do know there's still lots of games to play. And that moves us into the final segment of the show today, which is the preview. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining in, welcome. I would like to welcome you. You're in the locker room, and with me is Ali G and Tuka Brian. And, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notifications, and we'll be able to bring you some great discussions from the fans right here. And moving on to the preview section for this week, the games are coming in thick and fast. We know that December is a very tight month. There's several games played during the month, and that's happening, kicking off this week. And Tuesday, we will have the action kicking off on Tuesday with Newcastle and Norwich, Leeds United and Crystal Palace. But we do know that's not our focus on this show. We're much more interested in Chelsea going to Watford. Ali G, what do you feel the result will be there? Ranieri, we did see what Ranieri did to Manchester United. And we do know that Manchester United was off form, probably in that game, but still 4 past United, the kind of football they were playing, would still need to be prepared for. I think you do need to show them a little bit of respect as Chelsea. What are your thoughts on how that game will pan out?
I heard everything you said, but still, it will be an easy one for Chelsea. 3-0 to Chelsea, because our defense doesn't give. We don't give those Christmas offers like Man Utd. The defense is very mean, so it will be an easy win for Chelsea. 3-0. That's all I can say. Nothing much. Yeah, 3-0 to Chelsea.
3-0. Tuka, Brian, your thoughts on that match? Outcome?
No, you've got to fear for Watford, though the fact that they beat United by 4 goals, I think, to 1.
Yes,
anything can happen with Claudio or Ranieri. But the thing is, you fear for them because they would face a backlash. Chelsea would
exactly.
feel they should have beaten United. They did not, and they wouldn't want to lose. They wouldn't want to drop points in back-to-back games. So I
Exactly.
expect them to bounce back against Watford.
Scoreline prediction?
I'm not very good with those, but I think Chelsea will win.
All right, I'll leave that one. Then the next game there in the lineup, Aston Villa welcoming Man City to Villa Park. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be a crunch game. A
Absolutely,
real test
I think it
for
will.
Steven Gerrard.
I think it will be. He's won 2 games
Yeah,
for the
2
In a
games
start.
row.
in a row. Yeah,
Now
in a row.
in a row. So this is going to be his toughest test. He faces a potential champion, definitely defending champion. I think whatever he's been doing is going to be put to a test. Of course, he's not had a lot of time with the team. He's still, I'm sure, building things. Just cause it's gone well and he's managed to win his first 2 games. But it's going to be the real test. If they can show up and play some really good football and give City a lot of trouble, then you could start believing, if you're an Aston Villa fan, that maybe Steven Gerrard could be changing something there. But it's going to be an extremely tough team. And Aston Villa have got players and a team to cause this City team trouble.
Because
If they can be defensively disciplined, then they have a chance. We know what you guys will talk about the striker they do not have. If you have bodies behind the ball, it's always going to be tough when you don't have a natural center forward, which there are games that City will be struggling in. But we also know that they're so good on the ball. Pep Guardiola is a guy who thinks and talks and eats probably the game. He always has a plan for each game. I think definitely they're going to start as favorites, but this is going to be a really, really a big time test for Steven Gerrard. Should be an interesting one to see how Stevie and Aston Villa go about it.
I will result. What's your prediction there for the result?
It's one of those where anything can happen, but I still think City could have a bit too much for them.
Right. So City win there. Ali G, your take on that one?
It's a big test for Gerrard. If he gives us a draw, we shall know that okay, he's on to something. But still,
gives who? I thought you were Chelsea fan. Aston Villa is playing City.
I like that one. So what result are you looking at there, Ali G?
Okay, a 2-1. I'm saying a 2-1 win for City, but I'm hoping for a draw. I'm hoping for a draw. That's when we shall believe that okay, Gerrard is on to something. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll see what happens, and then moving on to Merseyside, where the Merseyside derby plays out. Liverpool go to Everton, but this is an Everton team that is not in form at all. Rafa Benitez is in trouble. This game coming against his beloved Liverpool. They have not won since September. The heat is piling up. And I do believe if he loses this game, with a big thumping, I think people will start to call for his head at Everton, no doubt. Because just the dynamics that are involved. This guy, former Liverpool manager in the Merseyside derby, has not won against since September, and is going in and being thrashed. I think for sure the pressure will be cranked up on Rafa Benitez, and to be now a matter of time if he loses this. Brian, your thoughts?
It's going to be a tough game for him, and first of all, an emotional one because he's a former Liverpool coach. They really love him down there. Actually, that's why many Everton fans never wanted him to be their coach. But it all changed when he started the season well, because Everton, I think, won their 3-4 first games of the season, and everything was looking good and rosy. But now they haven't won, I think, in their last 8 or something. They lost to Brentford over the weekend. Penalty. So it's going to be an extremely tough game. And like you said, this game has got 2 sides to it. You lose it, and many fans are going to be calling for his head. You win it, and they forget everything that has been happening, because this is the game. This is a game that the Everton fans want to win, and they've not won many, to be sincere to you. Liverpool have been so dominant in a Merseyside derby. If you're Benitez and manage to get a result, which is capable of getting, by the way, I mean, everything changes. The Everton fans will be singing his names, and they would have forgotten about the form that they've been going through, because this is the one they really love. So Everton have got to turn up. But you see, the beauty about these ones, you don't even need to tell the players about the game. They know that this is a derby. We don't want to lose this. We leave everything on the pitch. And if they can do that, they're capable of getting a result, to be sincere to you. I know they're going to give Liverpool a good run for their money, no doubt about it. But they've got
So
to
what
start
result are you
scoring goals.
looking
I
at?
think that's going to be key.
Are you looking at a
I'm
draw or
afraid
a loss?
absolutely. I think it most likely I'm looking at a draw because Liverpool. I have a feeling Everton will be a bit cagey. I don't think Rafa is the kind of coach who's that bold to go out. He loves keeping his shape too much. I think we'll be trying to limit Liverpool in whatever they do rather than going out for them. And in the process, I see maybe a 1-1 draw.
Brilliant. Ali G, your take on that game?
You got to feel for Everton. They don't have their strikers. They're struggling. So I think 2-0 Liverpool. Yeah. Yeah.
2-0.
Plus this Richarlison guy wasn't out. So you feel for Benitez. Yeah. But 2-0
but
Liverpool.
I know, you're saying that, but I know you want Everton to get a result.
Definitely.
If they give you a result as Chelsea,
I'm hoping.
as you like to say. Okay, moving on to Thursday's games, gentlemen, as we bring a show to a close. Spurs welcoming Brentford to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was going to say White Hart Lane, but it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What result are you looking at there, Ali G?
2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Conte starts to get some traction there.
Yeah.
Brian, what's your thoughts there? Stubborn Brentford team.
Well, Brentford have had some difficult times in the recent games, but they managed to win over the weekend. The Spurs team has not looked that good, and after the Europa League loss to, I think it was, Mari? We all know what Antonio Conte said. He said he's got a lot of work to do, not only coaching the team but also trying to improve the squad. So he knows that it's going to be difficult. And with the way Brentford have been playing, you know that they are going to give them a really, really good run for their money. They would have loved to play over the weekend I think, to recover from that loss in the Europa Conference League. Unfortunately, they couldn't. Now they have to face a team, Brentford, after not playing. Of course, they'll be a bit well-rested, but at times you want to go into that game off a back, probably win against Burnley, which they never got. It's going to be a tough game. There's no doubt about it. But it's one of those that you expect Spurs to win. But Brentford, it's a tough one to call because the way Spurs have been playing, you can't tell what's going to happen. It's going to be a tough game, really tough. This one is tough to call.
Brilliant. Finally, Manchester United welcoming Arsenal to Old Trafford. Brian and Ali, we touched on this one earlier, but finally, I think Ali, let me kick off with you. Your thoughts on how that game is going to go, as well as a prediction.
I think Man U will dominate. I'm hoping Arsenal win, but Man U will take it because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo will come in, as you know. I don't see anyone stopping him in that Arsenal team. So I'll give it to Man U. 3-1. 3-1 Man
U. Tomiyasu has been his nemesis, even in the Serie A. Bologna versus Juventus. Look for those games. You see Tomiyasu breaking Cristiano Ronaldo, breaking Cristiano. Super Tomiyasu. You wait and see. And Brian, what are your thoughts?
Man U play to prove a point.
There's no doubt about it. First of all, I don't expect United to play like how they did against Chelsea. I think they're going to be a bit more offensive. Of course, they will really play on the counter, no doubt about it. This game is all about, I think, Ralf Rangnick to see what is going to be bringing at United. Of course, it will be too soon. He might not even be available, but whether he is or not, you clearly think Carrick and Fletcher will have a big say in how the team is going to play and who's going to start. Because Rangnick wouldn't have had enough time with this team this week. There's no doubt about it. So, but I think they'll look at this Arsenal team and think they're not Chelsea, they're not City, they're not Liverpool. We should believe in ourselves and go all out. Of course, they'll play with the caution of trying to ensure that they defend well. You have to respect Arsenal. They are not fifth for nothing. They lost their first 3 games of the season. United and were 9 points ahead of them. Now they've caught up and gone past them. So you have to focus. I fancy them to win, to be sincere to you. Though tricky one. I think it will be quite close.
So United to win. Ali G, I didn't catch your score, your prediction for that one.
3-1 United. 3-1 United.
3-1 United. Very interesting. I'm going for a 2-1 to Arsenal. I do believe that
Definitely.
we will pull off a surprise. Gentlemen, we'll have to leave it at that for now. Thank you very much for coming for coming
Thank
over
you.
and joining us on the show. Brian, thanks for coming over. Ali G, ladies and
Thank
Thank
you
gentlemen,
you
so
for
thank you
much.
having
for
me. Please
joining.
do.
Brilliant. Hit the subscribe button, like as well, and the notifications as well. Have a great week and Godspeed.